Thank you, everybody, for being here, and I hope everybody and their families had a good Easter. This is a little different with our budget hearings this year with the COVID-19, but I'd like to thank TJ Plan and Lindsay Melody, the whole finance team, and for their continued efforts. And again, I want to thank cabinet heads down the rank and file, and especially the individuals from those departments that have been with me since day one, since this COVID-19 started. Front lines and some of the behind the scene things that have been done. We didn't miss the beat. We are here every day, whether here or on the streets. Been tested and true through a number of natural man-made disasters. And I'm very proud of everybody's efforts. Also proud of, because of our fiscal strength and stability, that we've been able to keep services, core services going. We have not laid off anyone. We have not furloughed anyone. We've kept everybody working, unlike other municipalities or towns in the area. And I'm proud of that. And that comes from being strategic, efficient, effective, and compassionate in our budgeting process. We're going to continue to do that, and we're also going to continue to utilize the federal relief stimulus package that's coming in the same way, because we have to plan for the ebbs and flows of the economy. And I'm hopeful that we do have the so-called roaring 20s come back from the 1920s, except without the stock market crash of 1929. But right now we are laser focused on defeating this COVID-19, and we're moving in the right direction, but we have to stay ever vigilant. In the meantime, we got to pick up the trash. We got to plow the streets. Police have to be out there. Fire have to answer calls. Back room services have to continue. Back office services have to continue. People need a birth certificate. You can go on and on and on. And we've been able to keep City Hall open. Unlike others have been completely closed, it has been open via appointment and some flexibility. And I appreciate everyone's efforts very much so. So with that, let me turn it over to TJ for any type of opening comments, and then we'll move forward with we're really going through the A&F type stuff today.
Thanks everybody for jumping on the Zoom, and for those that are here, as we go into fiscal 22, we're grappling with about a $14.5 million budget deficit. This is not something we can overcome, but we have been very strategic in what we've been able to do. The mayor has wanted to maintain core services and prevent layoffs and furloughs. I'm going to start right into my budget for the Office of Administration and Finance. We are going to make a concerted effort to change our title from Office of Management Budget to reflect the A&F moniker, Administration and Finance. And I'll get to that in a second with the kind of the team that we're putting together and kind of the roles that are shifting slightly from the roles that we've had before. Quick highlights: we've issued $35.6 million in debt. We maintained a AA- credit rating with Standard & Poor's, an A2 credit rating with Moody's. We have what we call SWATs, where we go in and we fix departmental issues by putting the team together. Where they have one SWAT going on now in the police department. We've received the Distinguished Budget Award yet again for the 12th consecutive year. And then our real big thing, and we can get into it, is working on understanding and spending and strategically spending any of the CARES money, soon to be recovery plan money, all the grants that we've received to maximize every dollar. So those are the highlights. The big thing that you'll notice in the budget is we're going up 1 FTE, or requesting to go up 1 FTE. That is by design. That when Melanie was promoted to the budget director, we did not backfill the grants director. Instead, she's going to have dual roles with budget director and the grant stuff. And then we're gonna add another analyst for us so we can actually better manage the workflow and the workload that we have, the capacities that we have. And that is gonna allow us to be all funds analysts, where we do general fund, revenue, and grants, to make sure grants, I do feel grants sometimes are not looked upon as as necessary to manage as tightly as you might the general fund budget, but there's millions and millions of dollars that we can have available in grants that we want to make sure that are fully available. So the request is going to be an additional FTE for a total of 12 in the department. In addition to the grants and the general fund, we also have the capital plan that we release every year. And so I don't know if I'm going to dive into the questions, Mayor, or...
Well, again, this is a budget that is really nearing $750 million now, everything included. So it's important that we continue to have this professional and award-winning management is key on that. So I know on the credit rating, we've been able to maintain that. We're hopeful that there might be an opportunity to, after everything that has occurred here, that there might be an opportunity to bump, but I'm very proud of that. I know we continue to do SWATs on there to make sure that we're being efficient and effective. You spoke about the grants, how we're going to handle that. And I said before, every department, in one way or another, some even more so, have taken on added responsibilities with the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. In this case, your department has been tracking every dime. So we've been able to make sure we go after every reimbursement we get, whether it's from the federal stimulus relief package or FEMA. I'm deeply appreciative of that. You're an old hand at that from our other natural man-made disasters. So I think that's extremely important. And we've also been able to help out because of our fiscal strength and stability of the school department, and being able to retrofit all our schools and our municipal buildings above and beyond the ASHRAE standards requested to keep everybody safe and sound. So maybe a little more on the, we talk about the bond and the SWAT, and then maybe you might want to add a little more of the added duties that your department has done with the pandemic. Yeah,
so I think the big thing is, so the bonds, the reason we had a negative outlook was just simply because the fact that we were in a pandemic, that we were losing revenue that didn't, that we were hoping to come in, and then we were spending money that we didn't have. Now, we did manage through FY20 with an $8 million surplus. That is taking into account all the lost revenue. I think we mentioned before, the big strategic move there was to not pay for services that were not rendered when the state and federal government asked us to do so. And we said no, because we didn't want them triple dipping with some of the PPP programs that were out there. The SWAT that's happening right now is the SWAT that we're doing, Lindsay and I are doing at the police department, to really look at the organization from an HR and finance perspective. We've had a couple of audits come out that shows that maybe a couple of things need to be tweaked over there. And I'm meeting with the commissioner this week to go through some of the initial findings on and recommendations based upon that. Nothing earth shattering, just your basic, making sure everyone is working within their job description and making sure that, people are utilizing the resources that we have adequately. I will let Melanie, if you're ready for it, talk about the fact that we hired Sean Pham as our senior analyst.
Sean, good kid.
Who's actually taking over the police department. We had a decision and a discussion that OMB or A&F will take over the grant functions for the police department, because we were missing some reporting and some other issues there due to some staff turnover. I don't know, Melanie, if you kind of want to chat about that for a second.
Sure. So we're very excited to work with the police department on taking on this responsibility with grants, specifically with the program management aspect of the grants. Before, our department wasn't as involved in that aspect. So what we're doing now is just learning based off of the grant information that we have so far, one grant at a time, until eventually we'll have the full responsibility of Shannon grant, for example, the SSYI grant, JAG grant. All of those, we will be managing the programmatic piece as well as the financial aspect of it. So we're in the works right now to get all of that in-house at our office.
Very good.
So he's doing really great with the information we've been provided so far.
And so then just the final comment from us, So A&F has taken on a brunt of the grants management and management of all the costs and deficit spending on behalf of the pandemic. We've received well over $50 million in grants